Alright, so for this type of stuff, we're just going to be kind of talking a little bit. You're going to be sharing about your experiences. We're going to be talking about, what it takes to be a founder, to be an owner of something. And really, we're just talking to us, okay? Sure, we could pan off to the camera, and you could talk to audience people, we'd be like, hey, ciao, whatever. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it's really just three guys talking, having a conversation about what it takes to be an owner, and we can get started whenever you want.
Yeah, just whatever questions y'all got.
Cool.
Want to do a little intro? Welcome to episode 2, or
Yeah. So welcome to episode 2. This is the Founders Framework, where I and my boy R2, we talk to CEOs, owners, founders, people that have started their own company, and we talk about what it took them to get there, what were their challenges, and things that they could do a little bit different. Today we have our guy, Andres. Andres, can you tell us a little bit about the business that you owned and operated?
Yeah, so for the past 10 years I've done tree work, tree work and landscaping. Had my business for 6 years so far, and basically we come in, whether we're working with commercial, residential properties, trim trees, remove trees, clean up properties. Sometimes people want to buy acres, want to build on it. They got to remove and clear the area. Sometimes storms hit, whether it's ice storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever it is. You got trees on your house, on your car. Somebody's got to cut the shit down and move the stuff. So that's where we come into play. Sometimes you just want to make your property look nice, clean it up, make it look good, impress the neighborhood. So, and landscaping is pretty obvious, flower beds, your yard, make it look good.
yeah,
But that's what we did. For the most of it, we did a lot of commercial in Florida. We did a bunch of residential here in Houston, and we have traveled probably from Oklahoma, Tennessee, in between states. If the work was there, we went to it. We chase the work. We don't just sit here and wait for it.
So how did you get into that business? How did you get into that line of work?
Money, bro. Money. I was 18. I was tired of working mediocre jobs. I mean, everybody coming out of high school is like money. If you're not going to college, you're thinking about money.
Right.
yeah.
And one of my boys was like, "Hey, bro, we need a worker." At the time, everybody made minimum wage. You were blessed to make $10 an hour at the time.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "We'll pay you $100 a day." And being 18, $100, making $600 a week, I was like, "Let's do it." And between that and how it felt to do the work, it's just blinking.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But between that and I guess when you're 18, you got testosterone running, you're holding these massive chainsaws, you're feeling it, bro. You're out there working with grown men, having grown man conversations, talking shit, having fun. It was a very cool experience, I want to say. I've never been one to be in one spot for too long, sadly, and that's kind of what made me love being in that environment. And it's a new house every day, a new client every day, a new area of the city every day. So we got to travel a lot, explore, and really see what the world was, how people came together, how people helped each other and worked together in different environments and aspects.
Is that something you liked about the business, that you would move with it?
That was probably the biggest thing that I liked.
Okay.
Was besides the money, was the freedom of going different places, meeting new people. I mean, when I first started it, I worked for other people, to kind of learn what the business was. And I always worked my way up to foreman in sales, basically. I started as a grunt, here and there, and then between weeks, I guess just because I had a great way of talking with people, they'd always put me like, "Oh, try sales."
So that was one of the skills that you really had to develop.
Communication and just having that open mindset to talk to people. Some people get shut out when they're talking to random people.
Yeah.
And some people start telling them about everything. And clients would tell me about their kids and this and that. And I've just met them 2 minutes ago. And they're already telling me about, half of the stuff in their life. And that always helped into building those relationships with people, building that network of, you know, having that trust and confidence, and I mean, it led to them, oh, what about this, what about that, can we cut this down, you know? And you know, when you're working with them and talking with them and then you make them feel comfortable, they're open to give you everything, you know? Like clients would cook us dinners, you know, cook us meals. We were in Florida for Thanksgiving. Lady made us a whole Thanksgiving meal.
Wow.
Turkey, ham, cornbread, mashed potatoes, everything you could think of for me and like 10 guys. Out of her pocket. She liked us, you know, just for being nice, I want to say. And like that's a big key, I want to say, is being open and having that communication with people. You know, you can't just be straight to business. It sucks because sometimes like you want to get to the money, you want to get to work.
Yeah.
But I want to say, being in the higher roles of business, you have to be open to just sitting there having a conversation with someone.
Yeah, so it's more personal.
Exactly.
More,
yeah. Whether the conversation takes 5 minutes or an hour, you got to do it.
At the end of the day, you want to make business with your friends. You know, you're not trying to make money. You're trying to make connections.
Yeah, or at least know the person versus like just finish the transaction. Because I mean, getting into this business, did you always want to get into it? You said it was for the money. Do you think who would you suggest that would get into this type of business if you were to suggest anybody?
Sadly, the amount of people that are in this business are mainly Hispanics, just because like this is what they're grown around.
Yeah.
A lot of people that, you know, come here looking for work. This is like the first line of work is working outdoors. Just, you know,
manual.
You see the guys outside of Home Depot, outside different places. These are the guys that are willing to do everything and anything. You know, they come with experiences from their countries and other stuff, but at the same time, they're relearning everything over here because obviously everything's built different. Everything is structured different over here. But everybody I've learned was from mainly outside of the country that I met that was willing to work. It's a very heavy job. The labor is intense. I mean, when you're working with trees, you're out, whether it's hot or cold, you're outside. You know, you're getting scratched up. Anybody who's picked up around their yard knows that a tree limb can be 5 feet long, but it weighs 80 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's wet, it's even heavier, you know, depending on the circumstances. So it's very back-breaking labor. So you have to be willing to put work into it. And the people who stayed made something out of it because they learned that through the hard work, there's other aspects of the job that will generate money for sure. And that's where eventually, once you start having your own equipment, your own crew, you start realizing like, okay, you know, like this is possible.
So walk us through that first step of getting your own equipment, getting your own crew. What was the first days like when you were like, hey, all right, I've learned the skill. I understand what the work is like. I've been able to develop a little bit of a connection with other clients on some kind of level, and you start moving into the idea of doing this for yourself. What are the first what is that first week like? What are when you're preparing to buy your equipment, preparing to get some crews?
Yeah, and those initial steps, what does it look like?
Stress, I want to say. You're stressed out because you're putting thousands and thousands of dollars into equipment. Like I remember when I first started looking at buying my equipment, my first mentality was buy the best, which was like a brand called Steel. They out of chainsaws and outdoor equipment, Steel's probably the top of the line.
That's the one that's like spelled S-T-H-L.
It's like S-T-H. Yeah, it's S-T-I-H-L.
Yeah.
And it's like an orange brand, but I mean, they're just heavier duty. Machines can get wet. They don't fuck up. The chains are built stronger. The bars are built better. They're expensive as hell now. Back in the day, they weren't like that. And that's where like this business, you can see how much it's grown because everything has gone up because of the amount of people that are going into this business, you know, and to this environment too. But in the beginning, I want to say I was just looking to buy all my equipment. Wanted to buy the top of the line stuff, just to have what you need to get the jobs done.
So to have what you need to get the jobs done, are you talking investment? Are you talking loan? Are you talking saving, personal savings?
Personal savings.
Okay.
Probably for most of the time that I did work for other people, I saved.
Naturally.
I did have someone that was also willing to help me start and get a kickstart, so they did invest as well.
Okay.
And that's where I got my trailer. I want to say I got my trailer with the help of an investment, so I can kind of get the ball rolling. All the equipment, everything else I bought out of savings, and in general, probably just to get the ball rolling was like 20,000, 15,000, 20,000.
Okay.
And I mean, you don't have to start that big. I've learned that. I've realized that, but I wanted to start at 100% because I knew everything. I was like, why not?
So this was your life savings.
Almost, but yeah.
But how old were you?
22, 20.
Okay, life savings at 22. So
Yeah.
you're still pretty young. You could.
Mhm.
There's room for like I could fuck up.
Oh,
even though-
plenty, man, plenty.
Even though it's your life savings, you're only 22. So,
Yeah, I mean, it was a big risk.
Yeah.
Because I did it. I started at 17, 18 almost. Did it for probably 4 years, and that's when I was like, okay, I know this in and out. I working for other people, the only way to make money is putting time into it. And you start your day at 5 a.m. You're picking up your guys, you're getting trucks rolling, you're pumping diesel, you're filling up gas jugs, ice, sodas, everything to get your crew moving. By the time you get to the job sites with Houston traffic, 7, 8 o'clock, you're starting jobs at 8, and I mean, you're working till dark.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the winter when it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or when they're in the summer and you're working till 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Did you have any? You said you went where there was work. Did you have any jobs in really colder climates?
Yeah, so we did travel for ice storms in Tennessee and Oklahoma, and I mean, you're hitting temperatures where you have snow about a foot up. You're dragging shit through the snow. We'd have to clear snow just to make a path for us to walk. But that's where the money was, These trees it would rain so much that the trees would just collect water, and when it would freeze, limbs that were 30 feet in the air were touching the ground, and they would snap and then fall on houses, cars, everything. And I mean, dude, you try to bundle up, but at the same time, you're working with frozen trees that are like cold.
So giant ice cube.
Yeah, I have videos of us like in hotels and we're outside building snowmans and having a snowball fight.
I mean, you gotta have some fun.
You gotta have some
too,
fun after work. And the days that were just completely frozen, where you couldn't even drive, we had to stay in the hotel because I didn't want to risk people's
of course.
safety as well.
See, but that's down the line. When you're starting off to, how are you getting your crew members? Are these guys that you knew?
These are all guys I knew.
Yeah, just like word of mouth, or
everything was word of mouth. Whether it's getting jobs or getting new crew members, I think I worked with 3 separate companies before I had my company, and so I met a bunch of guys. And I mean, a lot of these guys are just crazy hardworking people that just want to make money and go home. And when they have to deal with issues and, not getting paid and bullshit between the drama of other coworkers, they'll do whatever they can to be happy. And I would just meet them, and over time, every time whenever I was starting my own job or starting my own company, they would call me and be like, "Hey, I heard you're doing your own thing. You need workers? I'm ready. Or I would call them and they'd be like, "Give me a month and I'll be back and I'll go work with you," and this and that. And little by little, I had a 6-man crew just like that. One guy who wanted to work with me, he brought his cousin. Called another guy who was great at sales. He was willing to come. He came, and before we knew it, we had a small crew rolling and operating, throughout Houston.
And so, how are you getting your clients? Door to door?
Door to door was the biggest one. I mean, it goes back to communication. I had Angie's List. I had Home Advisor. I'm on Google. You can have all these things, but it doesn't mean people are gonna just call you. And like Home Advisor and Angie's List, they give you leads, but at the same time, they're giving that same lead to like 10 other contractors. So by the time you got there, the client already got 2-3 bids. And like I would just get the lead, drive right over there, Oh yeah, somebody came by 2 days ago. So they're just re-throwing the leads out, and you're constantly in competition. And whether either you settle and bring your prices down to compete, or you keep moving on. And door to door was the best one for me because you can cut a tree down for $1,500, which is still on the lighter side, and somebody's doing it for $500 just because they want to work and they're doing it by themselves. But when you have a crew, you have to realize profit and loss, and you just can't do that, because you can get it done faster, but you still got to pay your guys at the end of the day. You still got to dispose of the material. You still got to, you're still putting use into your truck, your trailer, your tires, your chainsaws, everything. There's a lot of money that goes into it to just settle for a cheap job.
Right, exactly.
And door to door was probably your best friend when if you're open to put the time into it, and walk. You're not, oh, let me drive from house to house. No, you park your truck and you walk these neighborhoods, whether it takes you 30 minutes to 2 hours. You're walking, every door, you leave a card, door hanger, whatever you got, and you knock the door. If they answer, hey, how you doing? Or you introduce yourself, whatever your sales pitch is. Try to offer them a free estimate. You're going to get doors slammed on you. You're going to get cursed at. I've had guns pointed at me. And you have to just keep going. You can't just get discouraged. You can't let, people's crappy day get to you, because at the end of the day, you never know what people are going through in their own life. But you have to push through and door to door. And there's been days that I would go all day, 10 hours knocking doors, not a single job. There's days that I would go 2 hours and I would sell fucking $8,000 worth of work, enough to get me rolling for 2-3 days. And that's where you have your good days and your bad days, but it's consistency. Key is consistency.
Would whenever you would you get like repeat clients like that would hire you specifically? Oh, landscape this place like once a month, or like we need y'all around Christmas time. When like I imagine when you first started out, you just taken whatever business you can get, right? And then I assume once you started to make enough money, or you had some sort of idea of what I'm gonna make this month, like a regular amount of clients, was there a specific like type of client you would like love to get, like or you like preferred, or it was do you know what I'm asking? Like
yeah. Honestly, it's a hard answer because sometimes people surprise you. Like at first I thought older people or older clients were probably your best friends because they're not gonna get out there and do this shit.
Yeah.
And they care more about their home than younger people, because younger people will sell the house and move, whether it's because of a job or family or any situation. Older people have built their whole life into this home almost.
Yeah.
So they take care of it. They want to leave it for someone sometimes. And they want the home to be kept up. Like the amount of older clients that you see out there trying to keep their home together is insane, especially in certain areas. Like if you go to Beaumont and like Orange County, and there's a bunch of areas around Beaumont City over there, everybody out there is nothing but older people that are more retired, but they're out there every day, whether it's pulling weeds, cleaning the yard, picking up something, because that is what they have left, and that's what means everything to them. And when you come up to these people and you offer them a free estimate, and you actually make that connection with them, they love you. Like they were our best friends. They made us cookies. They made it just for showing up, and they would be like, I need this. Before you knew it, you had their whole list in front of you, and they want the trees trimmed, the bushes trimmed. We didn't cut grass, but they would always ask us, like, you cut the grass every week, come trim my trees every 3 months, even though the trees don't grow that fast, just because they want to keep it up to date,
Yeah.
And it would lead, obviously you pick up whatever you can and work, but it would lead to going from trees to landscaping to helping them fix their fence to helping them fix this. I personally would always do the smaller jobs with 1 or 2 guys, just because it's easier to keep these clients happy than to overcharge them, because obviously if you have a full crew, you need to put in a certain amount a day. For me to have my 6 guys, minimum we needed to make $2,500 a day. That pays my guys, pays wages, pays expenses, and pays, I want to say, the company itself. You know, not me so much, but the company, because the company has to make money before everybody. Otherwise, the company can't keep rolling. You know, because every day you run the risk of a pop tire, chainsaw going down, and the company has to be profitable to continue to put out for these expenses. But I want to say on clients, the younger clients, they're the ones that if you overcharge them, I'll do it myself. And I mean, we're all those guys where someone's gonna come charge you $2,000 to fix your toilet. Shit, I'll go buy some drainage myself.
I'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out myself. Whether we got to shit in one toilet for the next week, you know, we'll figure it out. You know, but that's where you kind of realize, like, okay, younger people, you gotta be. It is a different approach, you know, like. With older people, you're gentle, you're more quiet, you're listening, you're kind of there to help them. With younger people, you have to be more of a friend almost, you know, like actually not compete, but you know, at the same time, you're like showing them like there's a reason why you're calling me.
Yeah.
It's because I know this and you don't. And you have to tell them that, you know, like be like, this is my price. It's not because I'm trying to charge you for expensive, but it's because I'll get this shit done today and you can go back to your life
and done well, not just like
done well. You know, it's not about how fast I can do it, it's about the quality of the work that you're going to get done. And it's because I've been doing this for so long that I can assure you this. And if it fucks up, I'll come back and fix it again. I'm not going to charge you more because I'm giving you this price to give you a quality solution on what you're doing. And that was really my slogan. It was always affordable prices with quality results, because we would tell people, we'll give you a good price, definitely better than some other competition out there, because of working for other people. I knew what they were charging, sadly, and I wasn't trying to underprice them. But I mean, when you're starting off, you got to be competitive, you know. And I tell them, like, I'm not gonna come out here, and I tell them straight up, other companies will do this, and this, and that's what we did. But I'm gonna do this, and this, but I'm gonna do it this way. Why? Because this is what's gonna give you a actual solution to your fix, not just let it grow back like for tree work, you know. Like sometimes you see a bunch of trees and the limbs are cut halfway. I tell people that whole cutting halfway, it's quicker, you know. Like your whole thing is that you want to cut it off the house. Okay, they cut it a foot back behind the gutter, but in 5 years it's gonna grow right back, and it runs the risk of killing that limb dying, because that open wound is just it invites bugs and termites and all types of things that will eventually eat away. And that damages the tree. Before you know it, you have that limb dies. You have a hole in the side of the tree, and your tree's rotten in the next 10 years, and then it's gonna fall on your house or whatever. It's down the line. It's not an issue right now, but it will become an issue. Yeah. And I tell them, I'll cut the limb all the way back where it needs to be cut, so that the tree will actually heal and seal and actually properly heal from that wound. It stresses the tree out either way, but would you rather just do it right or have to, you know, run the risk of it messing up?
Yeah. So people don't like to think about the future.
No.
They don't like to, especially to pay for stuff in the future.
I mean, you're gonna pay for it if you do it the shit way. You're gonna pay for it again, whether it's the tree dying or paying for someone to come cut it back again. Yeah. And you know, and that's where, if I could give you a better solution, I'd do it. Why not? You know, that's what, in my opinion, having a business is all about.
So you would also tell them not only like just do the job. I like that. You would also tell them like exactly, this is what I'm doing, and this is
that's my whole.
That's the problems I'm solving versus just, all right, give me money. I'm gonna
yes, because
educate the client.
Educate. Like, yes, I mean I was all, that was my biggest, and it's when you say it as a sales pitch, it's like you think, oh, you know, you're not really doing it to educate them, but whether you're educating them, whether you're teaching them, or showing them, you know, there's times that I pull a quick tool out and show them something. That's what sells a job, is going just a little bit of, whether it would take me another half hour into selling the job, but that's what sold the job and would upsell the job. Because if they see that they're willing to give you a chance with a small job and you outperform it and you're doing great and you amaze this client, they'll give you everything else they have, just because they were skeptical about you at first. And that's what builds, and that's what opens doors, I want to say, to more work and having consistent work. Because clients would call you back for every issue at that point. They would call me and they'd be like, do you have a contractor for remodeling the home, the kitchen? I wouldn't even do that, But just because of the way I work, they would hope that I had somebody that did that type of work the same way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that would lead to, I mean, you know, you can subcontract jobs, you can do all type of things with that, you know?
Yeah.
And that actually helped a lot, in my opinion.
So when you're dealing with quality, you have to have the quality people in place. What kind of struggles that you had with hiring the right people, having the right people on the team or in the crew, and just explain, you know?
I want to say, obviously, every worker wants to do shit the light way and get paid. Everybody wants to get paid for the bare minimum nowadays, in my opinion.
Okay.
Nobody wants to do shit the right way.
So it becomes harder to
It becomes harder
quality.
to hire people like that. Yeah, it truly does, because everybody wants to come to work, get paid, do the bare minimum, and it's just a crazy work ethic that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, everybody, all my employees were people from other countries. You know, they have a work ethic. They're grown with they're raised without nothing, and they're taught that everything you do it will affect you. You know, whether it's how they store food, how they gather food, how they buy food, how they clothe themselves. I mean, these people come to work in the most random clothes, you know, like some of them had clothes from thrift stores that would say words they don't even understand, and they're curse words or other random shit, but their mentality is in what they're doing in front of them and how they do it. And then I would have salesmen that were, you know, like me, born here, and they're coming with their nice watch, their shoes, their pants. They're trying to look good, but put them in front of a client and they're stuck. They have no skills whatsoever. They have no communication, no common sense. They have no nowadays the ability to figure something out is rare. You know, like if I tell you, let's take this wall down and open this room. What's your first instinct? YouTube, TikTok, if you're gonna do it yourself, you're gonna look up how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and
you just hit on something. I noticed whenever I would go to, I had to do like any DIY at home, and I would go to like a Home Depot or any like hardware store. If I ever asked a young guy, and this is an example, like if I was looking for like a bolt or a tool, and I wasn't exactly sure how to use it, or I didn't know what I was looking for, and I would ask like a young dude, they wouldn't know anything. But if I asked, like you said, someone that wasn't American or just an older person, they would know. But I don't know why. I don't know if it's a generational thing or if it's like I don't know why that is.
It could be a lack of experience thing.
It's
lack
of experience.
If you ask a younger guy and they haven't done a whole lot, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. But if you ask a young guy who's been a welder, who's been doing something about, hey, what does this hot rod do? Like, how do you use this piece of equipment? And they know, dude, they probably wouldn't tell you anyway.
I don't think you'd be working at Home Depot.
That's
They'd probably tell you to watch it on YouTube. You know?
Yeah, like I'll do it for you. I'll charge you.
There you go.
And I mean, that's just the world we live in now. I read this article once where they were like, conveniency is a killer, you know, and whether it's the internet, you know, because the internet was a big help for people. It makes everything so convenient. You can order online, you can order to your house, but so much conveniency, in my opinion, kills that ability to investigate, to figure something out. Because back in the day, if you wanted to learn something, if you want to learn how to cook, what would before internet? You would go to someone that knew how to cook and say, "Teach me," and you would have to do it yourself. Now you just put a video and follow the steps. Whether you're doing it right or wrong, you're just following the steps.
There's a lot of people that just follow the steps versus. I think that goes into the way people learn things, because I think it's better whenever you learn something to make a mistake and then learn how to do it right. But at least you know the ways you tried to approach it, and then you learn the correct way to do it versus just following steps. Because whenever you just follow steps,
you're still questioning yourself.
Yeah, you question yourself,
right?
and you're not really doing. You're just following steps. You don't even know necessarily what you're doing. I mean, would you ever see that with like your workers, a guy that has been doing it for like 20 years?
There were still times I did it, and I had my workers on the other side of the house, but instead of asking them, and I mean, again, I'm half their age, so the last thing you want to do is ask this guy everything. So I would say my pride would have me. I would sit there in my truck for an hour going through videos just to have a common knowledge on what we're doing. So when I talk to my guys, I'd be like, look, we need to do this. We need to ensure that we are at least doing this and this and this, and it would put in their heads like, okay, he knows what he's doing. And then they would just tell me, look, boss, let me tell you, I would prefer to do it this way, because it's going to help, actually give us a better solution. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to trust you, and we're going to go with your opinion on that. And that would build also like a trust between me and my employees, because they would say, if he trusts me to do it my way, then it's because, he has confidence in my ability and what I can do.
And I think that's a good sign as a leader / business owner, that your employees would have the confidence to go to you and say something like that, versus just like being scared or like being like thinking, I don't know if I'm speaking out of line, they're just too hesitant to tell you anything. So but would there be like would you have like jobs where do you remember a job where you just
do you ever have a dream when you dream and you
where you didn't feel, that's just the way I talk, where you didn't feel as confident as like you should have, like you were thinking to yourself, I don't know shit. Like I bit off more than I could chew here.
100%. Look, I did.
Were you just like winged it half the time?
Yeah, 100%, man. Between, I want to say, irrigation jobs, which are like your sprinklers and running.
I'm gonna get to the point, son.
Yeah, dude.
You ever have a dream? Yeah, no, dude. What I wanted to do is I want you to tell us like things that went right, things that went wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
What was learning experience?
Look, I never did too much fences, right? Building fences on properties is money, because of one, when you're building a fence, you're not building a fence for 30 feet. You're building in the properties I worked on, which was I would tend to work. There came a point where I only worked in Beaumont. I didn't work in Houston anymore. I worked in Beaumont. It's a 2-hour drive every day, but every job was a minimum of $1,500, $2,000, and I could work the whole day on one job, depending how many guys would come to work, and I could go home. I didn't have to spend all day working like I was taught. Where here in Houston, you work 8 properties a day, because every property is $500-$600, maybe if you're lucky $1,000, and over there I could do all that in one job, easy. 2 jobs if I really wanted to have a good day. And these bigger properties, let's say for the fence, you build a fence, you're building it for 2-acre property. You're not building it for 20 feet around your front yard. And minimum, you're looking at $10,000, $15,000, for some of these jobs, because 1, material's expensive. 2, between I want to say wages, the experience, we have to pick up and transport all the material, the time it takes. You're looking at jobs that take you a week, maybe more. Obviously, as a smaller company, we don't need to make so much money every day to where we're price gouging clients, but you have to still be profitable, everything. And you have to take into consideration that something can always mess up. You can be digging, and for a fence, you're just making holes for the posts, but you could hit a irrigation line, you can hit internet cables, and all that is money, man. So between having the knowledge like that, everybody always told me, if you're gonna dig, you need to call the city out to mark the lines.
You need to call that 811 number.
Obviously, you want to work. When you get the job, you want to get it done. So you start and you realize you could be halfway through the job, almost done, and you hit that fucking cable, and you're like, I would have waited 2 more days to have them come out here and mark the shit. I could have avoided the small error.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, never had that issue. I have hit irrigation lines.
Oof.
But knowing irrigation work, I knew how to fix it. I would immediately go turn the water off for the house, dig around. We'd buy PVC pipe.
Glue them together.
Quick fix it, and we're good to go. And sometimes you wouldn't even tell your client because at the end of the day, they weren't even home. They wouldn't even notice their water. I had clients that turned the water off for an hour or two, and they didn't even realize it. They'd come out later, and they'd be like, how's everything going? You're like, oh, it's great, you know. I don't know if you tried to take a shit or not, and your toilet didn't flush, but...
See, if it was my house, I would have... My toilet's not working.
Like, there was mistakes that were made, but thankfully, knowing how to fix it helped a lot. But when you don't know how to fix it and you're sitting there in a jam and you're just like stressing. And I did a property once where I didn't know how to do a fence. It was a hog wire fence where basically.
Oh, yeah, electric fence.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't electric. It was just the same concept, just without the electricity.
Okay.
But the guy wanted to build like a mini petting zoo almost. He said he wanted to have baby goats. He wanted to have this and that and have animals. And we were probably fencing around like about half acre to an acre, and I didn't know how to do fence. I took a risk because I met this one guy who's a subcontractor, showed me a bunch of his work. Looked great. It looked great on picture. Again, it looked great on picture. And when I brought him out, you know, I mean, he talked to me and the client. I told him, like, let's go out and do this bid. It's a great bid. The client actually was a very, very well-known AC company in Tampa, or a little bit outside of Tampa. And I was like, okay, you know, you're talking to the client, I'm listening to him. At the same time, I'm learning, you know, I'm kind of like taking in the information. And the client is thrilled with what he's saying. So I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. We get to it, we start buying material, and every time he kept going for the cheaper crap. I'm like, dude, why are we going for that? We charged them well enough to buy the good material. I'd rather use good material and make a couple $100 less in my pocket.
Yeah.
Because that good material will give you quality work. It just looks better in general.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, bro, we can make more money here. And I'm like, no. It was constant butting heads. And it was to the point where I was already kind of regretting the whole thing. But I was like, you know what? We settled for going lower in some things and getting better in some things. Just to not butt heads so much.
Yeah.
And because his whole argument was, you brought me to teach you, to show you this and that. I'm like, okay, you're right, you know, I am. But it's my reputation on the line, not yours, because it's my company we're putting out there. You're just a subcontractor. You're just working for me. I'm paying you. It's my reputation that's going to be put out for this work. We start the job. We do the job. Obviously, like for every fence, you want everything to be symmetrical. You want everything to look right, even. And every post was supposed to be every 5-6 feet. Obviously, we're building around trees. There's roots everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Your mentality is, if there's root in the ground here, scoot over a little bit here, you know, it might be fine. And that's kind of what we did, you know, it was fine. But over time, as I'm sitting there looking at it, it went from here to here to here to it's further out. I'm like, dude, you have a 8-foot, 10-foot gap in between each post instead of 5 feet, like we told the client. Well, it's because there's roots. I'm like, then dig them out. What are you talking about? There's roots. Put the work in and cut the roots, you know? Dig around and cut it out and make the space. It's going to take forever. It's going to take longer. The job's going to take...
This guy just sounded lazy.
He's a bitch, bro. He's a constant bitch, bro. Constant complaint.
This guy's just making excuses for everything.
Yes, bro. And that's where I was like, we're halfway through this job already, and I'm just like, I regret everything. I regret even trying this because... It's constant headaches, constant arguing, and, you know, it was just a headache, bro. It was a constant headache. Obviously, you're there. It's too late to back out, you know? You have this whole contract with the client. It's either push through or push through. And we pushed through. And the client, I mean, I want to say he was smart about what he did, too. You know, he knew he had a business. He knew what he was doing and what was going on. Mm-hmm. The whole time he was like, oh man, looking great, I'm happy. And then right when we got to the last stretch, started pointing out every detail that I'm pretty sure he was on his head.
Punch list.
And before you knew it, the job was done, and we still had another week's worth of work of errors to fix. And it's kind of hard to fix things when you already have everything put together.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I wish you would have told me this when we were here, so I could have fixed it. But you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and complain. I'm gonna fix it for you. And I mean, it even got to the point where he was, withholding payment at the end, this and that. Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't gonna sit there and argue with him because I understood. I mean, me personally, if I do a job right, and I'll put a lien on your house. I don't care. I'll figure out how to get my money. Police will get involved. We have a contract. Every job before started had a contract. You signed. I signed. It wasn't just you. It was me. I signed to do the job right.
How did you get those contracts? Did you have an attorney?
So I would write them up. There's a bunch of apps. You can get them printed out. Some people get like those carbon fiber copy ones where it has like 2-3 different copies, so you can keep them. I personally rather do shit electronically. It's just easier nowadays. I have my iPad for work. I would have an app. You go in there. Obviously, in the app, you can put all your information in. Your business identification number, your company name, your links, your Google, everything where they can and then every time let's say if I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna do your yard outside, right? I'm gonna put on the app. It has all my information. We put down your information. Put down the work that we're doing for you with the price, and at the very bottom, it's got a nice little chapter for you to read that states that
you're gonna pay on time.
We're gonna be on time. We're gonna do the work that is written on the contract, no more, no less. You're gonna pay upon completion. I'm not asking you if some jobs may require a deposit because we need to buy material, but we're not gonna be. We don't collect payment up front. A lot of people love to collect payment up front, and it builds this. Distrust with people where they're gonna take my money and leave and not come back. I hated that because you don't need money to start.
Yeah.
If I gotta buy material for your house, and that's why I was in there. But you don't need money to start tree work. The whole thing is that the work is in the tree. You have to come and start cutting shit down to start working.
Yeah, you're taking stuff away.
We're taking stuff away. Exactly. So that kind of helped me a lot because people would love to not pay nothing up front and get the work started. But everything was written in there, and when you sign, you're agreeing to paying this money up front. This money, whether it's a deposit or you're agreeing to pay upon completion. So as the job is going on and we're working, I'm sitting there and I'm arguing with the guy, and I'm thinking like, you're right, you're 100% right. Like this should have not been spaced out so much. The fence is loose here, should have been tightened more. So I tell him, it got to the point where I was like, you know what, don't worry about it. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to fix this. And tomorrow became the tomorrow as well. But not like I wasn't coming there, but it was like I'm there and there was more. And I'm there and there was more. And before I knew it, I had come back a whole other week after. And the subcontractor never came to help me because he was like, I did my part, I'm done. And I was like, okay, you know what? Don't even come because you're the issue. You're the reason I'm in this fucking predicament right now. Yeah. So, you'll catch your payment, whether it's hands or cash later, bro. You're catching something.
So when a situation like that happens, do you withhold retainage from your subs as well? Or do you pay your sub out?
I paid my sub of what we got. So whenever we got a deposit, and when I asked for the deposit for that job, I asked for enough to pay all the material and for me and the sub to have some money on us because we knew the job's going to take a week and you're not going to make money for a week, so you need to have some money on you. Whether you got to pay a little bill or you got to have, for me, it was fuel. Driving an hour down, there and back every day. Yeah. I picked up my sub, so he's not wasting his fuel. He lived close by. Easier for him, in my opinion. And I was like, I got to pay fuel. I got to pay lunches. I got to pay my guys. My guys, every day they had a cooler in the back of the truck that had ice, water, Cokes, whatever soda they want. I'd let them pick in the morning. They'd go pick their 12-pack or 2 of Cokes or Sprites or whatever they wanted, and a pack of waters every day. And that's that. Any pack of waters at a gas station is $10. Imagine doing that 6 days a week, every day.
$60
every week, $60. And then the ice. Nowadays, a bag of ice is $4 for one bag, and you need 3-4 bags. And fuel. You got it was a F350 dually diesel.
$50.
$80, $70 to $80 on filling that tank up, and you're going half a tank there and back every day. So you're filling up every 2 days, and it's little things that where you have to have a couple $100 sitting there just to get the job rolling. And So, you know, I would tell the subcontractor, as I get payments, I'll pay you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that way you can have some money on you and you're not just waiting till the end of the job. And as the guy would withhold payments, ask the same thing I'd withhold on him. I'm like, look, I didn't get paid. I'm not getting paid. How are you going to get paid, buddy?
So it's like pay as I get paid.
Yeah, it's pay.
Yeah. Well, the whole concept was to
paid.
the whole concept was to get paid the deposit and then get paid upon completion. You know.
Yeah.
But because the job was prolonged here and there, and the subcontractor would complain about money and this and that, I would be like, okay, you know. We would talk to the client. The client would be like, at first he was cool. He was like, you know what? I'll give you job's looking great. I'm gonna give y'all here another $2,000, and it would come out of him sometimes. And I'd like, okay. Out of the $2,000, I went ahead and paid my workers, and whatever was left, I'd pay the subcontractor. You know, so I can start getting his portion paid out. But when it came to the end of the job, and the guy we're still $7,000 still had to be paid, and we're at the point where the guy's not paying nothing because, you know, he's not happy with it.
Yeah.
I tell the guy, I'm like, how do you want me to pay you when the guy's withholding $7,000? You know, we have to go fix this. No, I'm not gonna. I did my. Okay, cool. Stay here. I'd rather not even have you on the property because you're just a pain in the ass. And as I went I went there for, let's say, about a week after everything was done. The client was understanding. He told me straight up. We talked, and he told me, because you came back, and I noticed your dude never came back with you. And I was like, yeah. He's like, because you came back, I'm gonna pay you $5,000. The other $2,000, I'm not gonna pay you, buddy. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, and I was sitting there, and I wanted to argue it 100%. But he's like, I really should kind of sue y'all for this because, like, I'm not happy with it anymore, this and that. The more people talked to him, the more he realized he wasn't happy with it.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, you know what, man? You know, I told you from the very beginning, this was my first, like, fence property job. You know, obviously my price wasn't as high as other competitors, but you agreed to go with us, so let's meet in the middle. You know, I'm not trying to get sued. I don't want none of that crap because, you know, I want to say I did bite off a little bit more than I could chew there, but it was putting a lot of trust into that subcontractor, and that's where I screwed myself. And as a business owner, but more as a man, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna accept my loss. I'm gonna accept that I shouldn't have maybe tackled such a big job for a first, like, type of fence like that. Done other fences, like regular fences, but for a hog wire fence, there's a little bit more. It's not even that hard, but it's harder to get the chain links to tighten up. It's harder when there's trees and there's a root in every post that you want to do. And if you want to make, you know, like the property would go like this randomly. So if you're putting the same 8-foot post down on the ground, one post has to go down 2 feet. One has to go down 4 feet just to keep it level.
Different lengths.
Yeah,
to keep the
you
fence
know,
level.
and there's a lot more to it that you don't know. You know, that besides people telling you on videos, you're gonna put a post every certain feet. You're gonna tie the fence. You're gonna tie it this way. No, there's more to that shit.
People just see the surface.
Yeah, there's details. You might hit a fucking pipe. You might hit a cable. They don't tell you that crap, you know. So it's every time you're digging, you're looking, you're aware of what you're doing, and you start realizing all the shit that goes into it. And towards the end, I was like, you know what, man, don't give me the $2,000. Pay me the $5,000. That pays me. I'm gonna deal with this guy on my own. Don't even worry about it. We shook hands. We moved on. The guy was like, I'm going to use the $2,000 because this whole argument was, I'm going to use the $2,000 to have another guy come out and fix these other errors. So you don't have to keep coming back anymore because I see you coming back. I see you trying. And, you know, I was there from morning to night, bro, by myself because I didn't want to pay my other workers more out of pocket. Yeah. And he was like, I respect you coming out and owning your shit, you know. He's like, at the end of the day, you did a good job. It's just not where I want it to be. And I was like, you know what? Understandable. Yeah. You know, like when you bite off more than you can chew, you have to know your limitations, I guess, and you have to learn. And it's part of the learning process. You know, all of this is part of the learning process. Now I know I'm gonna do a hog wire fence. I'm gonna hire somebody that has tons of jobs that I can go check out.
Yep.
Same.
And it's not just.
I want to see this job.
I want to see it in person.
You know what? Fuck it.
I want you to take me to the site.
At this point, I'll buy some material and I want you to build a mini fence in front of me, bro. At this point,
I want a demonstration.
Yeah. I want to see you work.
I want to see your methods.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm gonna sit here like
methods.
a weirdo and just watch you, bro. I'm gonna sit here like a fucking weirdo and watch you work for the next couple hours. But like, I need to see something, bro, because
Show me a knit.
pictures are not gonna cut it for me ever again. And I mean, that was probably something that I would regret, but at the same time, great learning experience.
Yeah.
And it taught me more into life too. Like, don't just trust people for their word.
Yeah.
No, you
Actions,
can't.
actions,
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah.
Actions are everything, man. And especially in life nowadays, because everyone lies. Everyone lies.
Dude,
Everyone bullshits everything now, bro.
That's what Mac Miller used to say. You know, everybody's dangerous. You know, everybody's hard. Everybody does this. Everybody does that. But when you really look into it,
Yeah.
no one's doing nothing.
Yeah. I remember, like, when we were younger, like, everybody was down to fight.
Yeah.
When the fight came, your homeboys are sitting over there.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, bro.
Everybody's like,
get
okay,
hit.
you got it. You got it.
Yeah. Hey, one on
keep your
one.
hands
They're
up.
like, one on one.
Yeah.
And then you're getting jumped, and where the fuck is your backup?
Well, hey, well, they broke the rules. I didn't break the rules.
Nah, Santi was always down, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a common example, you know, like words are words, but when it comes down to it, whoever's there with you is people who are gonna have your back. Actions, you know, and I mean that guy showed me a lot at that time, you know, to not want to go fix his own mistakes told me a lot about him.
How long did you know that subcontractor before?
Not even that much, bro. A couple months. He did do 2 small fencing, like regular fence jobs, and I brought him on to because we were doing the job. My guys knew how to do it. They told me. I had bought air compressor, nail guns, all little things, but this guy had. I mean, if you walked into his place, his whole fucking living room was full of tools, bro. And it made me think. Like I was like, this guy has tools up the ass.
Yeah.
I met him because where I was renting, it was in Tampa. You're gonna realize a lot of people buy homes and split them into duplexes, even 3s. They build rooms off the back, and it's a big thing now. Like, you know, like building homes and making them into mini apartments, mini duplexes, and this and that. And he was their subcontractor that would do this shit for their houses in Tampa.
Okay.
So in my opinion, I'm like, okay, like for this lady to trust you, sends you to every property. There was a time where I was a little bit low on work, and I was just, you know, I was chilling. I wasn't really minding it, but he was like, hey man, I need some help, you know. They want this tenant's moving out, and we need to go remodel the place, clean it up, make it look good, repaint everything, fix some holes, fix doors and that. And we went out and we did the work, and I mean, like, maybe remodeling was just his expertise, and that's where he thrived, you know. And when I saw the tools, the equipment, everything looked great. But, you know, so that led me to think any job that he tells me he does, he knows how to do.
Yeah.
You know?
You got a false sense of confidence.
100%.
Yeah.
And then I guess...
So did you ever speak directly with someone that hired him?
I mean, dude, the lady who owned the home, you know, that I when I went to go rent the place, she was there directly. And over time, we built a good relationship. She was very nice. Veteran who was basically buying homes at this point and remodeling to rent them out to registered like nurses that would travel. So these homes were like fully furbished, everything, TVs,
like
beds, couches, ready to move in. So for people who are working out of town for a couple months, who don't want to have to buy a place or rent a hotel, you'd go there. You have everything you need: silverware, plates, everything. You know, and you know, for her to have properties in Tampa, Arizona. I think she had a couple in New York, a couple in LA. I was like, oh, this lady, you know, like, she's moving, well established in this already. And she would hire this guy to do the work and throughout her 7-8 properties in Tampa. And he would keep them up to date, keep them, you know, good, keep them nice. There was times that he would go to Arizona and do a couple houses over there for her and then come back. And they, you know, I was like, okay, like, you know, they trust this guy. And I'm like thinking, I don't understand whether if he was cheating them out of their money or if he was, trying to expand his work, and obviously that's all he knew, but he didn't know anything else out of that.
I think it was the second.
I think so too.
I think it was you trusted, had a false sense of confidence based off of, I guess,
his reputation with her.
Reputation with her, but not like his technical skill.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Because like tools, tools are expensive nowadays, and you can tell a lot on someone on the type of tool they use. Anybody can buy a regular drill, but when all your equipment is Milwaukee and it's the more expensive brand, you're realizing that you're buying something to make it last because you use it every day. You buy Ryobi, it'll burn out on you in a couple months. But Milwaukee sits in the fucking rain, sits in dirt. These tools are dirty as shit, and they're working. They're working.
Sponsored by Milton. What about DeWalt?
DeWalt's just as good too. Just as good too.
I like both brands.
They're both solid brands. I've learned that now. I think I've learned that sometimes it doesn't matter what type of tool you have. It's about the person that's fucking using the tool, bro.
It's not the paintbrush; it's the painter.
I wanted to ask what you mean by like you could tell a lot by someone.
Well, the type of tool you buy obviously determines the type of money you're investing into yourself. Because if I'm using these tools every day, I'm not gonna buy something that's gonna crap out on me in a month. I'm gonna buy something that's gonna last. And that might mean putting $200 into this one tool, $200 more into this one tool when you could have used those $200 to buy another tool. And that means that you're willing to invest more money into yourself, into your equipment, into your job, into your business, into even just the basic contracts that you're getting with people to do the job right. Because sometimes, like I bought steel to start for tree work. I could have bought Echo and other brands, but the jobs would take longer. My guys would work harder. Always the risk of a tool crapping out and then I can't finish the job. And all that told me that those are just risks and liabilities into being on someone's property and not being able to do the job right. Or my worker having to cut a tree for 3 extra hours and more labor on his back.
Yeah.
More sweat when we could have been done because these chainsaws run a little harder and they cut the shit faster.
Yeah, it wasn't a skill problem, it was just the tool.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the tools will tell you a lot about someone because any random person, dude, I had a guy come out on TV and he had Walmart tools. He mounted the TV great, but he had Walmart tools. And, you see him drilling and he's like, nee, and he's trying to drill into the fucking wall and I'm like, damn, bro, you've been drilling for like a minute already and you're not even in it. You haven't even made the hole yet.
He's like, don't worry, it just takes some time.
Yeah, bro, like the power in the tool.
That's when you get the Milwaukee.
You don't rush success.
Driver.
Yeah, bro, I even till now, I did a bunch of remodeling jobs towards my last time in Tampa. I met this one client. And his family were the best. I mean, we cleared out 8 trees from their backyard. That was in one section. Once we took that out, we came in, stump grinded everything down, leveled it, and built a flagstone patio. I mean, I'm talking about a patio with a custom fire pit, custom lava rock around. I mean, we put plants in. We did in my opinion, probably the best patio I've ever done. And I put in months of work into that.
I have a question. When you said most of your clients were from word of mouth, like a client would tell another client, hey, this guy's awesome. Would you ever go to expos where they had? By the way, was it all just residential?
Some commercial too. I think after whenever we finished working the hurricane that hit Tampa probably 3-4 years ago now, I met this one guy. I was doing work at his home, and he was like, "Hey man, I actually work for the city, and we need people to help clean up. Good people." And he was like, "If you go to the city, you can actually submit bids for certain jobs. You can even go on the website." And he gave me all the information, helped me out.
Okay.
I went in, submitted a bid. Obviously, they asked for all your information, whether it's your business identification number, insurances,
capacity,
how much you can do, what can you do, what equipment do you have, what workers do you have, information on your work, everything. And once
certified payroll.
yeah, everything. Once we got through all that, I mean, they were like, look, if you can clean up the city from this side to this, because every other day you clean something up and people put more shit out. And obviously, because of a hurricane, a lot of people can't hire professionals to come and clean their yard, so they do little by little on the weekends, and they leave it out on the road for the city to pick up. That's where we would come in and pick all this crap up. The city can't pick up everything.
And the city would pay y'all.
And the city would pay us per load.
Subcontracting. The city was subcontracting y'all.
Basically, they subcontracted us, and they would say, from this street to this street.
That's not a subcontract. No, that's a prime contract.
I guess I just always considered
the general contractor for
this
job.
Yeah.
This particular job.
For this area of the city, I want to say.
That's gonna go under a file that's gonna say, hey, we have this job open to the public. This guy, Andres, with whatever company. What's the name of the company?
ABS Outdoor Services.
So ABS won this contract based off of their bid that they were awarded. Maybe they were the only bidder, but they were the lowest, best qualified.
Basically, it always came down to who was the lowest bid.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I want to say I submitted countless bids in certain areas, and I only won one.
No, I'm telling you, I used to work for the county. So I worked for the county for a year as a staff augmented project manager for their engineering services.
Say it again, what? A staff?
Staff augmented.
Augmented.
So their staff needed more help. So they augmented it with with private people.
Well, you were the private.
And I was one of the private companies hired. So we were actually a sub for AECom, and then AECom was the main.
Yeah.
And so at the county, I learned a lot. I learned how counties and small governments operate and how they use public funds to get these type of jobs done. So they'll make a bid, they'll post it on their website, they'll post it on the newspaper, they'll post it on all of their bidding platforms. Companies will bid them, and usually if you have more than 4 or 5, it's lowest bid and best connected.
Yeah.
If you have one bidder, great. If it's a big job that's over like 50,000, you need at least 2 or 3.
Yeah, there's some jobs that, I mean, you're questioning you should bid this much, but you're thinking this is a lot of work. I mean, if you any road you drive, and there's always that little middle patch of grass in between the two sides, right, of roads nowadays, like through regular roads. And in between there's trees. There's always trees now. There's always something. And I mean, when they're telling you, I need you to look from this street to this street, there's easily 50 something trees there, and that's where we'd be like, okay, we charge them $80 a tree, which is nothing, just to get the job, and then you realize somebody came in and charged $30 a tree, and you're like, sheesh, like competition is ridiculous, especially here in Houston.
Yeah. But Santiago, so like, would it be like the authority that would hire these contractors? Is it usually the city, the county, or it just depends?
It depends. So the county has jobs, the city has jobs. You have smaller municipalities that have jobs, and those jobs can range from $10,000 to $1 million. They can range to more than $1 million. It really depends on what they're trying to do as a governing body.
So after working for the city, did you was it just like another job, or did you think, oh, now I want to do like more city work, or you just went back to?
I like the idea. I like the idea of continuing and trying to find more, because it was constant work. It was a way to keep your guys busy and keep them happy.
100% paid.
But
it's a guaranteed paycheck.
Guaranteed check.
Anything from the public money.
It's guaranteed. Yeah.
But at the same time,
it takes a while to get paid though.
Yeah, there's a lot of loopholes. Well, not loopholes, but a lot of little things like.
Call it red tape.
Yeah, red tape.
Yeah.
Like that job that you got for the city was a lot more difficult than.
Yeah, like it took time to get paid. So at the same time that we're doing that, I had to have another crew doing residential work.
Just to keep money coming in.
To keep money coming in and paying my wages. Yeah. At the same time, and that's where you realize like it's good to have. That money's gonna come in later.
Yeah.
But it's not here now.
But it's not here now, and everybody's got bills now.
Yeah.
And that's where, as soon as I finished that, I mean, we probably did another year worth of work with residential people that we were kind of like putting on hold. But I mean, at that point, I was like, I'm ready to go back to Houston too. Like, Tampa is just expensive
So
for
then,
what they offer.
what would you say was your biggest con to having your own business in Tampa?
What versus here?
No,
Or just-
not
when
versus
you were in
here,
Tampa.
just in
Having-
Tampa, just
Living in Tampa, bro.
so living in
What?
Tampa.
Why?
Tampa is something else, man. Like
What does that mean?
between people wanting to be what they're not, and this city is so expensive. Like I was for
Oh, really? Tampa?
dude for the duplex I was living in, a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, $2,300, and I mean, dude, you're paying for a fraction of a space, you know, like
That's what I'm paying.
800
here.
to 1,000 square footage, which is not that much, and you're paying $2,300 just the rent, you know, plus everything else. It's here. I got the same amount of space for $1,600.
Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy. And then fuel was always over $3. Here, it's almost back to under $2.
Yeah.
Gas was at 3 something. Regular gas. Groceries, everything. I mean, dude, here, ever since we moved back, we go to Costco and Sam's and spend our $300-400 on everything that you want in bulk. You know, your
For a
staples,
month.
everything. And over there, that was just a regular trip to Publix.
The
You know?
Publix,
That's their
It's like
like
a
that,
HEB.
that's like their
Yeah.
HEB or their, you know, and you know, like you'd spend $200 and you have like a fraction of your cart filled up with crap, and you're like,
Yeah.
shit, bro,
Yeah.
like everything's just.
Another question.
So cost being super high.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big takeaway from.
You would think you could charge
From
more
your
at that point.
location,
If the
right.
economy is in that area is
Didn't
more
translate to
expensive, then you would think you would charge more on your jobs. But then
Yeah.
you have every other client arguing with you on the price, and then there's always competition. And just like here in Houston, when competition skyrocketed, and because when I started tree work here in let's say in the Katy area, there was 4 or 5 companies at most, and now there's a damn company every corner you turn, you know, working somewhere. Every yard guy that cut grass became a landscaper, and every landscaper became a tree guy. And before you knew it, there's 50 tree services in just Katy alone. Go throughout Houston, there's 100 and something tree services everywhere. You know, that's why when I was in Houston before going to Tampa, I only worked in Beaumont, because there's a handful of people in Beaumont, and not everybody wants to drive 2 hours every day. But I tell my workers, I'm like, you're sitting in the back sleeping. Well, who cares?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like if we can get in there, work, and be out by 4 o'clock, we're back at home by 7, and people here are barely leaving job sites at 8 o'clock trying to make ends meet. You know, and that was the mentality, was just work smarter and not harder.
Another question I had was, since you mostly did residential, did you ever give like your business cards to like real estate agents and say, hey, I open houses, just like give everybody these cards, you know? Or do any marketing, like free marketing, like that, where you would go to
I mean, when I first started, I got into like Facebook groups of like people, small business owners. A lot of people would meet up, trade cards, you know, like you could be at a property and they're like, oh, I need to get my roof done. Hey, I actually know a guy that does roofing. Boom, commission. Oh, I need a guy to remodel. Oh, here I know a guy, commission. You have your own little box of other people's cards.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of these people who are putting themselves out there are doing good work. And I'm not going to say everybody's going to be a scammer, everybody's going to out here to take people's money. A lot of people are just trying to make ends meet and work for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people are just sick of the whole system of working for somebody else and never making enough.
That is the entire idea behind this podcast.
Yeah.
No,
we're kind of asking that question to everybody, so we can do that.
Yeah, I mean it's the goal. I want to say.
Right. That is the entire reason behind this podcast, is to show what it takes to escape that route, to escape, hey, I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to bet on myself. I want to put everything where my mouth is, and then actually go and get my work and get my shit done. What keeps you now? So, what is the current status of ABS?
So when I moved back from Florida, it's a good and bad, I want to say. My workers that I had with me, I brought them from Houston to Tampa to work over there. To them, they were
so they were just like cool.
They
Let's go.
they moved over there with me, and I went, found a little mobile home, and I paid the rent on it, and that's where they lived. Instead of having them in a hotel, they each got their own room in a mobile home, and they had their own little place. To them, they were okay with the idea because they actually had a family over there, which I didn't even know about at first. It wasn't until we were over there, they're like, oh yeah, my aunt is like 15 minutes down the road. I'm like, oh, what the hell? You should have told me this.
Yeah,
I'm over here paying rent, and you could have gone with them. But in the end, they took over the mobile home because they wanted it to be for them, you know. So I was like, look, y'all pay the rent, it's yours. You know, I'll transfer the rent over the lease to you. And the people who owned it were cool because they were actually trying to sell the damn thing because it was already old. So they took it over, and I mean, they had aunts, cousins, and family over there, so it was great. But when it came time to move back, they were like, we want to stay. Yeah. We're building this life over here already with our family, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm not going to take you from that. Like, that is all your choice, you know. I'm going back because my family that I do have in Florida is in Miami. And it's my siblings and my stepmom and some uncles and aunts, but I'm not going to Miami. I need to go back to Houston. So I was like, y'all do that. And this will give me a chance to work on myself because the years and years of stress and work put a toll on my body, my mind, even my relationship, I want to say. And I needed time to just not be work and be myself, you know, because everything I was work. To go out, I dressed in the same clothes. If we went out to eat somewhere, I wore my same Columbia shirts, my same jeans, boots, you know, because that's what I was. I embodied my job so much that I became everything of my job.
Yeah,
I looked like every other tree guy out there, you know? And even just to go out, the same shit, you know, just the nicer version of it, area, and you know, you had your different brands and this.
But I mean, did it kind of work? It sounds like you were that was a side effect of how you were
always working
right there.
Yeah.
Always working. Mm-hmm. But does that kind of work? Because you just like you would go to a family event
Dude.
or whatever, and then be like, oh, why are you dressed like this?
Dude, I was at a
restaurant.
restaurant once eating with my girl, and the lady's like, "Oh, you're a tree service," because I had my business shirt on, and she's like, "Here's my number. Can you give me a quote whenever you can?" And I would get jobs out of the blue like that. And it did work, I want to say.
Walk around town with your...
Dude, tons of people do that nowadays. They'll make their own company shirts into the basic dry fit shirts, into basic sweaters.
Yeah.
And like, you know, so many people have sweaters, like regular hoodies with their company logo on it. Just so that people can see your name out there. And I mean that's what it takes.
This isn't my company, but look.
Yeah. I mean, it comes to a point where you're just wearing shit to wear it at one point.
Yeah.
And that's really another form of marketing.
Yeah,
for someone
exactly right.
That wants to start in landscaping or tree cutting, you said it takes like 15,000-20,000 for all the tools and stuff,
mm-hmm.
right? Whenever they start, how long do you think the average person that's starting this type of business would it take for them to start making a profit?
Once if you're thinking about the aspect of making your money back first and then going to
like
profit,
if you start like say I have like 25 grand, I spend it all on materials and stuff
mm-hmm.
I need, and that's it. Now I'm negative 25. How long will it take to get back to?
If you work hard, if you can get work lined up,
mm-hmm.
you can make it back in 2-3 months.
Oh shit! Okay.
But if you don't got work and you're working one job or two a week, where you end up using most of your money to pay your bills too, and your wages, could take you 6 months to a year. You know, it really depends on how hard you hustle. Thankfully, because I was always a foreman, always sales, I always had direct contact with clients.
Yeah, you kind of already had that network.
People had my number. They didn't have my boss's number. They had my number because they knew if they called my boss, they got the voicemail. And then I'd end up calling them back.
You were the point of contact.
So it got to the point where people always be like, "Give me your number. I don't want to talk. I don't want to deal with them because they only show up when it involves collecting checks." Mm-hmm. You know, and every time when I would leave, people would tell me, "I don't want to work with them. I want to work with you," and that's what led to me having work from the beginning. You know, like I had people calling me, "Hey, I need another tree cut down." And I'm like, "Hey, I just want to let you know I started my own business. I'm not working with them anymore." Like, I don't care about that. I want to work with you. You come over here and give me a price, and whoever you bring, I don't care. Mm-hmm. You know, and that led to me having at least 3 days of work every week starting off. And those 3 days paid profits, paid the company. any other work I got out of that, that's when we started making profit.
Then that's okay.
Nice.
And I think it determines a lot on how much and how hard you want to work.
Yeah.
Because there was days that I couldn't sell a job, and we'd work Monday to Saturday, and Sunday was my one day off, and I'd tell my girl, I'm like, hey, I'm going to work. You know, I'm getting dressed to go to work at 6 in the morning on a Sunday, and I'm out there walking streets all day on Sunday just to try to get a job for the next day. And there's times that I got it, and I would end up lining up a whole week's worth of work, because in the weekend, obviously, everyone's home.
Yeah.
It's the best chance to catch somebody. And I would line up work like crazy. And then there was days that I'd go out there and not get nothing. And you're coming home, you're disappointed in yourself, whatever. But it's all about that hustle on getting out there, you know. If you're willing to put the work in, you'll make money, man. Like not thousands, but hundreds of guys will always be like, how old are you? Oh, you're going to go far. Is this good? And then honestly, I can start again right now, and I have the experience and knowledge and ways of going about it differently.
And that was my next question was,
Yeah.
if you could start again, starting today,
Yeah.
how would you do it and what would you do differently?
I wouldn't start with a whole crew again,
Okay.
because having that stress of having employees is crazy.
Pretty stressful. Yeah.
You got 4, 5,
Payroll is
6
tough.
grown men that have
big
kids
responsibility.
Yeah.
that need to make the rent. And there was times that their car broke down, and they're like, hey man, can I get paid in advance? Can I borrow $2,000? Obviously you're paying out of your pocket, because you're not going to go and pay money out of the company, because you're doing this for a favor at this point. But you know, like, it happened all the time. You know, can I borrow? I need help, this and that. Even for one guy, one of his family members got caught by immigration, and they were like, it's $10,000 to get them out. And they're over here asking me, can I borrow $10,000? I'm like, I can help you, but I mean, I'm not gonna just give you $10,000 right now. Like we can figure out a way to, you know, hire someone to help you with this and get the process going, so they can come back right, and not have to deal with the situation again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would not have employees off the bat, 100%. For tree work, with the amount of clients that I made, and I mean, we cut trees down every other day, I would just go about it with starting as like a stump grinder. You invest. So there's a machine called stump grinder. Basically, when you cut the tree down, you have what's left of it in the ground is called the stump. You know. So, I mean, you might know, but they might not know. And
let me check on camera, because last time we recorded for like 2 hours, and okay, still going. Making sure, man.
And I mean, dude, there's stumps everywhere throughout Houston. I want to say, like, a lot of people, a stump grinder, bro, easily $50K, $80K on the machine alone, and a lot of 100%. Look it up.
But is that necessary to start out though?
No, that's what that's
It's
where
gonna
I'm
be
going.
necessary to start off your stump grinding company.
You're gonna and the thing is that you don't have to pay the full money. You can just lease it like a car.
Okay.
You put $5K down, and they give you the machine, and you're making your $300, $400 payments a month on the machine. There's people you can pay more if you want to.
By the way, since you said you wouldn't start off with as many employees as you did, like when you first started out, that's what you would tell yourself. How many people are necessary, I guess, for like a basic like tree cutting job? Like
3 to 4.
Okay, I was thinking like 3.
Because you need your one guy that's a climber that's gonna go up in the tree. He's the one. He's your main guy. You got to keep him happy. He's the one that's gonna go up there. He's gonna be the one that's cleaning the tree, trimming the tree, removing all the dead wood. The one that's if you're removing the whole tree, he's the one that has the knowledge on how to tie the tree down, how to cut certain pieces so the weight doesn't shift and just fucking topple over. If you're dropping trees from the bottom, I mean, these guys have to know weight reduction, everything. Which way is it gonna fall?
Yeah, that's
the wind. Trees are so big that if a random gust of wind comes and you're cutting.
Cause I see those videos on the internet where they cut it and then like they
drop it.
Yeah, did you ever have to drop it like in a weird?
So many times. Yeah, bro, so many. There's times that you have to cut every limb off and leave just the trunk to drop because the spaces are so tight. I've worked in properties where you can't drop the tree at all. You have to cut everything section by section by section, And something that you could have dropped and cut and be done with in 3 hours took you a day and a half. But that's where you learn what the job
trade.
takes. You learn the trade. You're talking with a client. You're like, look, man, like I would normally charge $1,500 for this removal, but I'm gonna have to charge you $2,500 because your yard is 20 by 10, and you have your neighbor's fence here and your shed over here and your backyard patio over here. We have no space to work. Everything has to come down tied. And so that means every limb has to get tied by a rope, has to be cut, has to be brought down slowly, untied, rope goes back up, tie the next one, and it's a process of piece by piece by piece.
And
instead
that's
of
limb by limb, and then section by section.
And then once you get to the trunk, I mean, it's cutting the trunks in sections to where
it's light enough that you can swing down and maneuver.
Yeah,
getting rid of a stump. Now I'm like thinking the technical ways.
How to get rid of the stump. See, that's where
I feel like the stump's the easiest part.
It's the easiest part, yeah. 100%.
What is that thing? What was it called? The stump?
A stump grinder?
Stump grinder.
Yeah.
What does that do?
So it's literally this like little machine on 4 wheels, and in the front it's got a big like circle, and the circle has these like teeth. We call them teeth.
Yeah.
They're like little hammers basically, and there's about like 12 of them like go around or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it literally turns so fast that when it touches the stump, it's beating the shit out of it, and it's like grinding it down into like mulch. Like when you look at mulch and it's like little pieces of wood, that is stump grindings, and
those are
the grindings from trees that get painted, oxidized. They put chemicals and shit into it, and then it gets resold. That's a whole other business too. Tree services, when they have a machine called chippers, where like when you have a dump truck and your chipper, you feed the limbs through it and it chips it through, right? All that shit, we dispose of it at dumps and nurseries and shit like that. They take that same material, run it through another machine, and throw the chemicals with nutrients and vitamins and all that crap in there with the color. And once it's run through, they resell it as mulch to landscapers. It's a circle that goes around.
They resell it to
you. We cut your tree down and you got it back in mulch from another guy. And you paid money to get rid of it, and you paid money for it to come back.
It's a whole cycle.
It's a whole cycle, and it's so smart. Like if you learn all that, you could. I would say the biggest money is in having these fields where people come dump, because people are paying you to get rid of their shit, and then you use that same shit to make more and resell.
Yeah.
But their machinery is a whole other ballgame, millions of dollars.
Yeah, they gotta trade all that stuff.
It's
chemical
those are
balls
the businesses that make money, but the money they put into it is ridiculous too.
You said you worked with that subcontractor where he worked with the lady that had like multiple houses and stuff, and it sounded like he just maintained places, or like if it was remodeled, he worked on it. But it sounds like you worked on stuff that was new, like, or you didn't know the client, and you just kind of worked on the trees, and then got paid and like left. Would you ever? Did you ever have repeat people like that subcontractor where you just worked on multiple of their properties? And if you did, would you ever? Because we mentioned earlier, cash flow is an important thing, right? If you got a contract with the city, you know you're going to get that money. It's just not here now. So in my thinking, I'm like a strategy guy. Unlike Santiago, I always like overthink stuff. I would want to, or at least feel safer if I got a client where he would say work on like these properties this part of the year, and then these properties this part of the year, and I would want to get multiple guys like that. So at the baseline, I would know, at least have some sort of what's it called? Feel safer that like I'm gonna have at least these jobs throughout the year, and I could work on like trying to get other people. But did you ever have like clients that you knew like I'm gonna get this guy around like New Year's one time?
So obviously, when you're talking to people, your biggest thing is letting them know what you do. Like I don't just cut trees. I'll do your landscaping. I do irrigation. We can do fence work. We can do this and that. And obviously, in your card, your business, we had cards and door hangers. You put all that crap down in there so people know what you do. And because the thing is that if you only put tree work, they'll only call you for tree work. If you tell them that you do irrigation, you do fences.
Again, it's educating the client.
People will be like, oh, let me call them for my irrigation. I have one sprinkler head that doesn't work. And then while you're there, you're like, hey, let me do your trees. Well, you know, fuck, I'll do your trees too. You know, give you a good deal if you want to do 2 jobs at the same time. And every client I tell them, you know, like, we can do your landscaping, but just know in the winter, your shrubs, this and that, are gonna die. And that's where landscaping would boom in the winter because everybody's plants freeze and die. So right when winter ending or in the middle of it, people want to replant shit so that their houses still look nice. They don't care if they're gonna die again in another month. They would do it so that they can have a nice house, a nice home. And in the summer in summer and spring, tree work is booming. In the winter, irrigation and landscaping was booming. Each job had its downtime and its you know time where it spike.
Yeah.
Because in the winter, people who don't know about their irrigation or don't turn it off, their pipes freeze. They burst. Next thing you know, they got water. One side of the yard is just like drowning in water. Their grass is dying. We would also do sod replacement where we don't cut grass, but if your yard, like let's say you're just not growing grass, we come in, we scrape out and remove all your old grass and resod your yard. And I mean, so
resod. Yeah, it's replanting the grass.
Basically, replanting the grass. And we're planting in, you know, fully grown grass. We're not just putting seeds down where it's going to grow in a couple months. We are bringing in
pallets.
Yeah, so those are the jobs that would boom in the winter, you know, because that's what people need. In the winter, your grass dies. They overwater it. Sometimes they keep watering it like normal,
so it gets
and
all yellow.
And it gets yellow. It burns out, and same thing with the plants. You know, like they don't know they're supposed to cover the roots. They don't know they're supposed to cover this. They don't know they're supposed to turn their pipes off completely and shut them off so that water's not like running through it slowly. Or sometimes they think, oh, you know, we still need to water our yard. We still need to do this. So they have everything running like normal, and pipes burst. The yard's drowning. Your irrigation's flooded everywhere, and that's where people would call us for certain things. And that's where we're working with the same client 3-4 times a year, easy. You know.
Okay.
And that's where we build these relationships.
So you did have like a small Rolodex of like.
Of course, depending on the jobs you do, yeah, you know, if you know that if you have the knowledge in these different trades, you're gonna be working with the same person over and over because they don't just need one thing. Everybody needs different things done. Mm-hmm. It's just and when they can hire one guy that they trust to do it, they rather do that 100% because if they know that you're gonna come in and take care of them, whether it's sodding, landscaping, tree work, fencing, even a fucking wall, they're gonna call you because it's you. It's not. It's not the business. It's you.
It's you. Yeah.
And that's what matters to people.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good point as an overarching closure, because this is, as a brief overview, what we talked about today was we talked about opening strategy. Mm-hmm. We talked about payroll and what it takes to maintain the body of the company, which is your people. We talked about obtaining clients, which is your bloodline. This is your cash flow. This is what circulates through the company. This is the life. Mm-hmm. We've also discussed what it takes to put this on yourself. You have to have a lot of courage. You have to have a relentless drive. You're going to get told no. You're going to be spat in the face almost. Your people are going to stab you in the back.
People open doors with guns to my face, bro.
Exactly.
Get the fuck off my property and everything.
So you need a very thick skin and a strong mind in order to do this. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you still may not come out on top.
Nope, 100%. There's weeks where I made just enough for my guys.
Yeah.
You know, the business profited $500, but at least I knew I had $500 extra sitting there in case something went down. Yeah. But I mean, and you know, I'm like, you know what? I'll make my money next week. And I mean, I paid myself as a regular wage. You know, so I you know, because you have to learn that just because you're a business owner doesn't mean that you're gonna make big bank.
Exactly.
You put yourself on payroll. Put yourself as because in the end of the day, you are working for your company. You are not the company. You are working for your company because, like everything, I was sales, I was labor, I was a driver, I was, what else? Sometimes I was up in the tree cutting, you know, like you're doing everything and anything because at the end of the day, it all falls on you.
Exactly. Yeah, it seems like a business where the barrier to entry is not very high, but if you work hard, you can definitely make.
You can do everything, especially with technology. You know, I built my own website. I was on countless calls with Google trying to edit their different keywords for
The
the
SEO,
search.
the search
Yeah,
engine.
you
I know what you're
like,
talking
like
about.
I didn't even know anything about this.
Yeah.
And just sitting there arguing with people that I'm trying to figure out what the fuck they're telling me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so this is how it's gonna work. So asking millions of questions. And I learned, okay, you know, I started designing. I worked with designers on my business logo. I hired different designers because I didn't like the logo and that they made me, and they'd make me 8 different logos, and I'm like, I just don't fuck with it. It's not me, you know. Until I finally got my cards done, until I finally got my business door hangers, I got my truck tagged up, you know. Everything took countless errors and trial and error to find what is you, because at the end of the day, it's all a representation of you.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned marketing. I learned how to get up in the tree and cut the damn tree, because why?
You did everything.
If my guy was sick and couldn't work, and I wanted to get this small job done to pay my bills, fuck it, I'd go out there and do it myself. There's times I pulled up to a job with one guy because it wasn't a big job. It was a little $1,000 job, but I was like, hey, $1,000 job. I paid this guy $200. That's $800 left over, right? Out of the $800, fuck it, I'll put $400 aside for the business and $400 for myself.
Yeah.
Easy day. We work till 12 o'clock and we're done. You know, I could have paid my guy half a day, but that's where I would take care of my guys. I'd be like, look, man, you and me, it's gonna be a lot of work, but I'll take care of you. We get it done. We go home, and they love that shit. But it takes a lot of willing to get out there and put yourself out there. You know.
Yeah.
Because you have to learn skills. You have to be open to being wrong. You know, people are gonna tell you that's not how you do this, and then you'll be like, okay, well, teach me. Not that, I'm the business owner, I'm right. No, teach me, show me.
So that's humility.
Yeah, you're gonna learn how to be humble, bro. Because if your whole mentality is me, it's gonna be you doing the job by yourself.
It is gonna be you.
You know, like these 40-year-old guys don't come to work to play. They come to work to work. They want to work. They want to go home. They don't want to be arguing. They don't want to be dealing with childish shit. They don't want to be dealing with mentality of a 22-year-old that knows the whole world like he's been living it for 50 years. Because how many times have our parents told us, like, just listen when I'm telling you something? It's like knowledge is experience. Knowledge comes from experience, and experience is everything in this damn world. Especially with how we trust the internet with everything, and then we do something and it's nothing like the damn video.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks, Andres.
Yeah, man.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for the conversation, brother.
For sure, man.
I mean, go save the camera if you want to say anything to the audience.
Don't let your business. If you're looking to start a business, don't let it consume you. One thing I was telling these guys is about a year ago, I probably weighed close to 300 pounds because everything was work. And I took a step back to kind of reshape myself and remold myself, and I'm down 120 pounds, and I'm happier, I'm healthier. I have new goals now. I still have my business, but at the same time, I have new aspirations, new goals, new things that I want to achieve in life. And I've been doing work for 10 years now straight, since I was 18. And I think that you have to still live life. Don't let your work consume you.
Have balance.
Money will come and go, 100%. But have balance. You know, live your life. This is gonna be your life.
Yeah.
If you're looking to be an entrepreneur and make a life out of it, this will be your life. But don't let it only be your life. You know.
Don't let it be the only thing in your life.
Yeah, man. Like be more. Be a person. Be a human. Be a friend. You're a father. You know. Be a father. Be everything that you can be. Plus a business owner. You know, you shouldn't just be a business owner. And when the stress hits, take a step back, go do something else, and then come back to it, and you'll realize that you'll have 10 more solutions that you didn't have an hour ago.
I agree.
Don't let the stress rush you into something that you weren't ready for. You know, just because you're hungry, you want money, do it right. Do it right. Take your time, do your research, and ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because if I would have asked for help in so many different things, man, I would have come out better and probably been more profitable. You know? Like, I want to say, before my business, I was renting my truck. Now I own my truck. I had a different truck. I had different equipment. I had so many different things. and I'm happier. I love the experiences, everything I learned, but if you can do something a little bit better from the beginning, you'll have a much bigger outcome in the future. So don't rush it and just take your time. It takes time.
I think those are great points, man. I think that's a great closer.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. This was the Founders Framework, episode 2. See y'all next time.